Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and get us started. My name is Maggie Patch, and I'm a student in the Outdoor Recreation Leadership Program at Colorado Mountain College, Leadville. I am proud to host this International Women's Day event today. International Women's Day is a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. The day also marks a call to action for accelerating gender parity. Marked annually on March 8th, International Women's Day is one of the most important days of the year to celebrate women's achievements, raise awareness about women's equality, lobby for accelerated gender parity, and fundraise for female-focused charities. International Women's Day has occurred for well over a century, with the first gathering held in 1911. The day belongs to all groups collectively, everywhere. Gloria Steinem, world-renowned feminist, journalist, and activist, once explained, "The story of women's struggle for equality belongs to no single feminist, nor to any one organization, but to the collective efforts of all who care about human rights. So, make International Women's Day your day, and do what you can to truly make a positive difference for women." And now, here's Mackenzie Dotson to introduce our guest speaker.
Thanks, Maggie. To celebrate International Women's Day this year, CMC has invited an alumni, friend, and accomplished woman athlete from Japan. Her name is Naoko Maruyama, and she's joining us via Zoom from Japan. She's a former ski racer who spent time in Summit and Lake counties, and she graduated from the Leadville campus in 1992. She then went on to work for the 1998 Winter Olympic Games. She had a career in the corporate world, and now she's back with the Olympics, serving as the manager of the National Olympic Committee Relations Department. This is for the 2020 and now 2021 Summer Games, where she's the liaison between the Tokyo Organizing Committee and 9 different European countries, which includes Austria, Denmark, Germany, Norway, and Sweden. So please welcome Naoko to our 2021 CMC International Women's Day celebration.
Thank you for a quick introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Naoko. Good afternoon and good morning in Japan. Because it's 8 a.m. on March 9th. Before I start my introduction, let me share my screen. I think you can see now. So thank you for inviting me to this webinar. The picture is me with a torch. Torch relay starts shortly on March 23rd, and it will travel across Japan. So I was born and raised in a ski resort called Hakuba in Nagano Prefecture. Hakuba was one of the co-host towns for 1998 Olympic Winter Games in Nagano. It hosted cross-country skiing, ski jumping, Nordic combined, and alpine skiing during the Nagano Games. Because of the pandemic, this winter was quiet, but recently it became a popular destination for guests, especially from Australia and New Zealand. This is my family. This picture was taken 40 years ago. And this is now, which was taken in January this year. I have 2 sisters and I'm in the middle. Women are pretty strong in my family because of the gender balance. And as you can see, we all ski. My parents used to ski race and participated in 1968 Global Olympic Winter Games. So I naturally became a ski racer. And this is why I went to United States to ski train and participate in FIS, International Ski Federation point races. I went to United States when I was 17 years old. I stayed in US for 4 years. In the first year, I was in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and then moved to Frisco, Colorado in the second year. I joined and skied for Team Breckenridge. Also, I went to and graduated from Summit High School. I didn't speak English at all when I moved. I took English classes for 3 years before I went to, but it didn't help me. So it was very, very challenging to ski and study at the same time. And everybody spoke to me as if I understood as a native English speaker. After graduating from Summit High School, I went to CMC, and I cannot say it loud. I didn't study much at school. And I puzzled my class schedule so that I can have more time for skiing. But I also have good memories from my classes. I took Spanish for 1 year. The teacher was Mary Abuna from Leadville. I joined her summer school, and students not only from Leadville, but also from Aspen Steamboat campus together. We went to Mexico for 3 weeks to attend language school in Cuernavaca. It was so much fun. The picture you can see on the right-hand side. And the picture on the right is from my graduation. I graduated in 1992 with associated degree in liberal arts because I was planning to transfer to 4 years college. CMC offers a unique program such as ski area operations and resort management. So when I think back, I should have taken these programs, but I didn't. But I have a friend. I extended my invitation to this webinar this morning or afternoon in your time. I am not sure if she is joining, but my friend Yoko, she's also from Hakuba, went to CMC Steamboat and to study resort management. And I have another ski friend from another ski area called Nozawa Onsen, which is about 2 hours from Hakuba. He graduated from ski area operations also in 1992. So we went to school together. The campus was very, very tiny back then. And before this webinar, I visited and took a look at the online self-guided campus tour. CMC looks a lot different now. And I'd like to extend my congratulations to CMC for successful development. The poster on the left-hand side on screen, I purchased this before I left Colorado, and I found this during my stay-home house cleaning last summer. It is quite interesting, and it's such a good time to bond again. After graduating from CMC, as I said, I was planning to go to 4 years college, but I changed my mind. In November 1991, Nagano City was selected as the host city for the 1998 Olympic Winter Games. At that time, I knew that I cannot make it to a national team to become an Olympic athlete. So I decided to quit ski racing and came back home to work for the Nagano Games. And after the Nagano Games, I have worked at different companies, and assigned positions vary from purchasing to marketing, sales promotion, booking manager at a modeling agency, etc. And I now working at the organizing committee for Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games. And the photo is taken at a chef de mission seminar, which is an event takes place 1 year prior to the games. So it was 2019. Photos with my colleagues. I have been working since 2014 in a department called NOC NPC Services and Relations. NOC stands for National Olympic Committee, and NPC stands for National Paralympic Committee. And I am in the NOC Relations team, responsible for coordination with the European Olympic teams. I receive many inquiries from them every day as we are in the final preparation stage with only 4 months to go. I am also in charge of the opening and closing ceremonies, Parade of Athlete project, which also keeps me very busy. Let me briefly give you an outline of the organization and the games. At the organizing committee, there are about 3,500 employees working full-time. There are more than 50 functional areas, such as sports, venue management, athlete village management, ticketing, transport, accommodation, international relations and protocol, finance, ceremonies, etc. And NOC NPC services and relations is one of them. During the games time, 80,000 volunteers will be engaged to work for Tokyo 2020. The opening ceremony for the Olympic will be held on July 23rd and closing ceremony on August 8th. More than 11,000 athletes with 8,000 team officials from 206 countries will participate in the games. As for Paralympics, it starts on August 24th and closes on September 5th. The number of the number of athletes, team officials, countries, and sports are smaller than Olympics, but in Paralympics, there are more medal events. This is because events are classified based on their impairments. And this is the big difference between Olympics and Paralympics. In the end of my introduction, I would like to touch upon how things have changed in Japan from 1998 to 2020. It is more diversity now. As you can see from the picture on the left-hand side, I'm sorry, it is the photos back then, it wasn't digital, so I have to scan and you can't see well, but all of my colleagues are Japanese. But now there are staff members from London 2012, Rio 2016, Pyeongchang 2018, Buenos Aires 2018 Youth Olympics, with speaking language of Japanese, English, French, Spanish, Italian, Korean, Russian, and Portuguese. We welcome staff members from the past games, and also we join as secondee in the organizing committee of the games that takes place prior to the Tokyo Games. So this is something we didn't have back in 1998. I also worked as a secondee during the Rio Olympics for 2 months. It was such a great experience, and it helps me a lot now. It also inspired me in a way that I started to think about working abroad. One more thing, I would like to highlight how interesting to work in the sports industry. The picture on the upper left is from the Nagano Games. It was taken when a course designer for cross-country skiing visited. The course designer is from Norway, and I'm now in charge of Norway. I met him when I visited Norwegian Olympic Committee in Oslo after 20 years. And I met your colleague Leslie in Rio and Tokyo in 2015. We are united again through CMC. So sports connect people, and it connects then and now. It is great, and I'm very glad to be back to CMC campus, although it's a virtual. I want to thank you again for this opportunity, and this concludes my introduction. Thank you.
Thanks for that introduction, Naoko. I just have a couple questions for you, follow up on that. My first one is, what has been the most challenging barrier you have experienced in regards to being a woman in sports?
To be honest, I didn't have a challenge when I was skiing because alpine skiing is an individual sport. Let me turn on my video. Oh, nope. Okay, that's okay. Because it's an individual sport, but I didn't question until after I quit ski racing, and only after I joined Tokyo 2020 and meeting with representatives from different sports federations, and I found that many national sports federations is working hard to work for gender equality. Considerations are now taken for gender balance in their executive board and female coaches to accompany female athletes. It seems normal now, but it was, when I think back then, it was probably not usual. So now a lot of national federations working hard, but there is a still big difference. For example, football or soccer, you call in the United States and also in Japanese. It is very, very popular in Japan, and we have very strong female team. They won FIFA World Cup in 2011, but in 2012, Japanese women's football team traveled to the Olympic Games in economy class, while men traveled in business class. So this is something different we can still see.
What are the most critical changes that you see in bringing gender equality to the field of sports and the Olympics?
At the Tokyo 2020, a ratio of female athletes quotas now is 48.8%, which is 2.9% increase from the Rio Games. And at Paris 2024, it will be 50-50. So if you compare it with 1984 Los Angeles Olympics, female ratio was only 23% back then. So it's everybody efforts. And then for the Tokyo Games, we will be introducing 2 flag bearers to carry the flags at the opening ceremony, 1 male and 1 female flag bearers. So, you know, it's a combined efforts by everybody.
Can you tell us about some countries that are leading the way with women in sports?
Yes, at the organizing committee, we host visits by National Olympic Committees, national teams from different countries. And then they often make a group visit that the head coaches of each sport come to Japan. And then we make presentations and organize venue tours so that they can understand our plan and where each sport takes place and in what environment, so that they can prepare for the games. And during such a visit, I have noticed and I have impression that Norway is one of the leading countries. There were many female representatives, and usually female coaches responsible for female teams, but I saw Norwegian female coaches responsible also for men's team. And also my counterparts in Norway, there are 4 people and 2 of them are young men, and they became father last year, and it was mandatory for them to take 2 or 3 weeks off as a parental leave. So it's not just a working environment, but their national government supports women.
We've been following the story of the resignation of the head of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Organizing Committee because of his derogatory comments about women in the workplace. Can you speak to us about how that story impacted the Japanese Olympics?
Yes. Tokyo 2020 has decided to increase the female ratio of our executive board members up to 40%. So we selected 12 new members, and then they have a different background, from Olympic champion, Paralympic athlete, to leaders from business fields. The new president, said at the press conference that Tokyo 2020 selected people in order to get opinions from different angles through diversity, harmony, and gender equality. And I think it was a very good opportunity to be more conscious about the gender balance and why diversity is needed.
You work with Olympic committees around the world. What cultural changes have you faced and what has surprised you?
If I was not a Japanese or Asian, I might have faced more challenges and shocked because I'm too accustomed to. When you attend a meeting, you notice the ratio of the gender balance is different. In Japan or many Asian countries, it is the trend that we have more male presence at the meetings, business trip. But however, when I participated in a congress of all national Olympic committees, so everybody comes from 5 continents, but still I noticed that the more men positioned in their president positions. So, it wasn't a challenge, but it still be shocking to know,
What are you most looking forward to for the Olympics this year?
Well, the year 2020 was extremely challenging to everybody. The COVID-19 pandemic has put us under a lot of pressure and stress. So I hope the excitement of sports and athlete performance will light up people and blow away this depressed atmosphere around the world. I believe in sports, that sports has power to change the world, and the sports has a power to inspire the people.
On that note, what particular measures have been taken to mitigate risk from COVID-19 at the 2021 Olympics?
Because I'm in charge of athlete, so I am going to explain how things work for the athletes. In order to minimize and control the population in the Olympic Village, IOC, International Olympic Committee, and Tokyo 2020 have agreed and released a policy called period of stay. Usually, the Olympic Village opens 10 days before the opening ceremony, and athletes can come in and then start staying, training in the Olympic Village. And the population in the Olympic Village is about 18,000 to 20,000. Yeah, it's a big, big village in a tiny square. However, under this policy, athletes can arrive only 5 days before their competition and then depart 2 days after competitions, so that we can reduce the number of residents. Also, we released a playbook which describes code of conduct, wearing masks, social distancing, health monitoring each day. So that's a measurement we are going to take during the games.
Sorry, I'm just looking at my next question. What do you think are the major differences between being a woman in the workplace in the US versus Japan?
Because I was in US only for 4 years when I was a student, so I do not have strong, knowledge, feelings about this, but I'm assuming that there may be more job options in United States, or perhaps it's pretty much the same. That, after graduating from like college, women may work, but may become just may become a mother, and then without working. So that kind of trend may be same as Japan, or I don't.
Do you have any advice for how to support women in a male-dominated workplace?
Well, young female women should not be shy and seek advice from older professional women, I think. And we older women should be a model and then give a professional advice or based on our experience, and so that we can be a good mentor to young generations, and then we can show that there are options.
Do you have any?
It was my mom.
It was, sorry?
Yeah, I was going to give a example.
Okay.
Of this. When I was 13, 14 years old, it was my mom who pushed me and supported me about going abroad. Although I said from myself that I want to go overseas for ski racing. As I said, my mom was a ski racer, and right after she graduated from university, she married and have a baby, so she didn't have experience of working. So she just pushed me for career. And I originally wanted to go to Austria, because in Austria, skiing is not their national sport. However, it was my mom who suggested to go to United States so that I can study English, and the English can be a good, strong sales point for future career. So that was kind of a example of my case.
Do you have any other role models that inspired you when you were ski racing?
Yes, it was also around when I was 13 years old. A daughter of my parents' friends, her name is Nami. She's about 11 years old, older than me. And she went to Washington State when she was in high school for 1 year, and stayed with a host family. And then the host family is a skier, and it happened to be an Olympic family. Their daughter, her name is Debbie Armstrong, is an Olympic gold medalist from 1984 Sarajevo Olympic Winter Games. So when Nami hosted, their host family came to Japan they visited Hagufa, and Nami organized a kind of a talk event and inviting us, the local ski club kids, to listen to Debbie's story and to see her gold medal. And it itself was inspiring, but it inspired me most was Nami. She's doing interpreting, speaking, coordinating, things like that. So it was inspiring moment to me, and then start thinking about going abroad.
How do you think CMC shaped your choices on your career path?
CMC?
Yeah.
That's a tough question, interesting question. I think that I like the part of CMC because it's flexible. At that time, as I said, the campus is small, but because it's small, there are classes you can take at Breckenridge, Leadville, Aspen, or, and then there's already, it was 30 years ago, but it was already online, not online, how do you call it, video classes. So there are options. So after going to CMC, I think I became more flexible, like in a way of doing things, achieving things.
When are you going to come back and visit us?
That's a good question. Anytime soon. This pandemic must be over now, and I want to go back twice, once in summer and once in winter.
Well, we're almost out of time, so I just want to take a moment to thank you, Naoko, for joining us in Leadville to celebrate International Women's Day and for sharing your insights and experiences with our campus community. I'd also like to thank all of the students, staff, faculty, and community members who joined us, and an especially big thank you to Maggie Patch for planning and organizing this event. CMC wishes you a happy International Women's Day, and we look forward to seeing you for International Women's Day 2022 in person on campus. Have a great evening.